Hey guys, so I wanted to hop on and give you kind of a tutorial about our library website. So here I am on the front page of the Citrus College website. I'm scrolling down, I'm clicking on Hayden Memorial Library, right? So if you look at the screen, we have a bunch of options up here. Here we have video tutorials, which is where I got some of those Mr. Library Hands tutorials. And here we have advanced searches and then databases. Now in a second we're going to go on to databases, but I also want to show you a couple more things. So first of all, over here is the phone number to call the library if you have any questions. You can email or text a librarian, and they have live chatting if you need help finding a particular source. So for your essays, you are looking at social issues that connect to conflicts within Frankenstein. So you're going to hit databases, right? Now here are sort of the A through Z database things. If you scroll down, you're going to find a couple different databases that are also going to be really helpful for you. So if you look down, we have issues and controversies, which might be really helpful. We do have Newspaper Source Plus, which should be very helpful because it'll help you get current issues. Psychology and behavioral sciences, if you're looking at sort of issues of maybe impacts on children from their parents leaving or something like that, that might be helpful. So one of the big ones is also avoid opposing viewpoints in context, right? So say we click on that, it brings us, or it should eventually bring us, to the database itself. And we can search specific issues, right? So we can search negative impact of foster care and see if anything comes up. All right, so we have all these results, right? So we can look at these different sort of articles here. We can maybe watch some videos that might talk about foster care, but what it looks like is we have way too many sources, right? So what I might do is I might first look at the different content types and decide, maybe news might be helpful, right? And if I click on the news, it'll just show up with different news articles that talk about this, right? So one other thing you could do is you could do the advanced search. It's kind of like a Boolean search, and it could be, you could use parental neglect, right? You could look up impact too and add that and do a search. It looks like that's a little too specific, so you can go back, maybe see what parental neglect kind of pulls up, right? And kind of see, look, here we only have 66, 67, 60, 69 different resources, right? So that might be a different place to go. Now, if we go back to the A to Z database, what we can also do is we can use EBSCOhost, and this way we can use multiple databases. So we can choose the databases we want by selecting them, right? I might select America History, right? That's always kind of nice. Communication is always kind of important. I don't really want the ebook. Health Source, History might be important. Newspaper Source Plus might be helpful, so I'll click that. Psychology, behavioral. So I'll choose different sources, and then I'll go ahead and put in parental neglect, right? And maybe I'll add children, right? Because that's probably important. Now what I can do is, if I want to look at children or child abuse or childhood trauma or child development or anything like that, I can just use child and put an asterisk. So anything that starts with child will also be pulled up. So I'm going to hit search and see what comes up, right? Perceived parental neglect in children's psychological maladjustment, negative personality differences, right? I might want to change the publication date because I probably want, because we're looking at current issues, I probably don't want stuff from 1923. So I'm going to change this over here to 1994 and see what comes up. Now we just have 526 results, which is nice. They'll have full text. So we should be able to find something that works for us, right? So say I click on this one. It looks good. I want to read the abstract to see if it might kind of help me a little bit. I can click the PDF full text. I want to open that. And then I can kind of read through and pull out the quotes that will support the conflict that I'm going to be talking about. Okay. So in our library database, they have a bunch of different ones that could be helpful. Again, Academic Search Complete might be helpful. American History and Life. EBSCO is always helpful. ERIC might be helpful. Films on Demand or Canopy, those can also be helpful too. They have a lot of educational documentaries and things like that that might actually help you guys with your research process. JSTOR can be helpful. If we were just writing on literature, we would use Magellan Literature Plus, but we're kind of writing on current events that are affecting things, right? I also want to really quick point out, they have frequently asked questions that are really helpful, and that talk about what to do if you're struggling with anything. I also want to mention the library account. I did upload the video, why create a library account, but I want to make sure that you do this because if you don't create a My Library account, you won't be able to access all these great sources, and you need library sources for this project. You cannot just use sources from the web, right? And this is because on the web, anyone can print anything about anything, right? But the sources that have been chosen for our library database, they're ones that have already been vetted, right? The librarians know that they come from good sources. They're ones that we pay for, so we want to make sure that we utilize them. If we go back to the home page, you can also see that they have guides by subjects. So if you scroll down, and let me move this guide quickly, we have English and literature, right? If we scroll down, we have nonfiction resources, which would be really helpful for you. So if you click on nonfiction resources, this research guide should help you to find the sources that you will need for our paper. As we go into this paper, definitely let me know if you have any questions. I know it's a huge project, but we have about a month to write it. We're going to be doing little baby steps. You guys are turning in your proposals. I'll give you some feedback on those. But remember, the big idea is that we're looking at these conflicts in the story and thinking about how they connect to issues in our society today, right? So really showing the connection between this literature from 200 years ago and like how these issues are still prevalent. Definitely come see me in my office hours or give me a call if you have a question.